Well, I'd like to get everybody together and get everybody's input on this at one time instead of you telling me something, him telling me something, somebody from the city telling me something. I would like for us to get together and sit down and discuss this among all of us because, like I say, I don't understand it. Just to get your viewpoint without everybody else's viewpoint, I think would be not the correct way to go about this, you know.
Well, what I'm trying to address are two totally separate issues here. I was given a directive by full commission. Mr. Chambers, I think you're the man who made the request. I was assured that we'd be able to address it today. That's one matter. Now, if you want answers to questions about the animal shelter and the new advisory committee or board, I can tell you about that. It's already passed full commission's approval, the resolution. It passed the full city resolution. It will be a 7-member board. Once that board is established, and all members have not been approved, at this time, Mr. Armstrong is the county's representative. There will be 7 members. County mayor with a county mayor's designee. A member from the Carter County Commission, Mr. Armstrong, is that position. The city mayor with a city mayor's designee, and I don't know who that will be. It's my understanding that will be taking place in the February council meeting. They'll also choose a representative from the city. That's number 4. There will be 2 members represent the Friends of the Animal Shelter or come directly from the Animal Shelter Building Committee, and there will be 1 from the Humane Society. That board, once it's seated and has its first organizational meeting, will be responsible for the daily operation of the animal shelter. They will hire a director at that time. But that's then. That could be 60, 90 days from now. We're living in the current time frame. We're watching the sands fall through the hourglass. And Mr. Schuettler, as he told me from day one when I took office, one of his many roles has been, and is today, because there was a vote taken at the county commission last month, he is the director of the animal shelter and has maintained that going forward. But that's one issue. The other issue is the issue that I had to present to this planning commission today by direction from the county commission. Is that not correct, Chairman?
Not certainly, Leon, but I've been a public servant for almost 30 years now. Not only in this capacity, when the county commission votes on something, I'm more than aware of how to take it and utilize it. And yes, 60 more days, as Mr. Chambers said, we're going to take care of the employees over there. We'll make sure all that's squared away. And we'll leave it up for the individual that you hire. But at this time, that's pretty much it. Was there anything different? Was he requested to put some kind of stipulations on that? Mr. Bowers, you're the chairman.
My recollection that during the commission meeting, you agreed to stay on as interim director or of the animal shelter for 60 days. Volunteer. And that's where it stands.
Thank you, my recollection. I think it's a moot point.
We're right now running this animal shelter.
We're just taking care of the
We're taking care of the time sheets. We're taking care of the procurement of the feed and
that's as simple as Freddie Collins saying, I need to pick up the card from the City of Elizabethton. We're just telling you yes.
Mr. Chairman, there is a matter that I need to address today. Mr. Chambers, the gentleman who moved that this come before this body today. It came before full commission. You have a letter in your hand now that was directed by Mr. Schuettler, and I'd like to address that issue if the commission will allow, because that was my directive from the county commission.
I don't think that was, Leon. I think what Mr. Pierce is trying to do is have yourself, the chairman of the county commission, the city manager, and the chairman of the planning commission, and the vice chairman, and our liaison to meet in private to discuss this matter.
Well, the thing about it is the bylaws, I can provide you a copy of the bylaws, have been approved, would not be a meeting required.
But what bylaws are you speaking of, Mr.
The bylaws have created the advisory board for the animal shelter, the new governing body for the animal shelter going forward.
That's fine. I don't think, it doesn't pertain to us at this time.
No, but the other matters I do have today does pertain to this board, because the letter is one thing. On Thursday, January the 3rd, I received a call from City Manager Fred Edens. Mr. Edens informed me that he had just received a box of files from the animal shelter along with a piece of correspondence from Animal Shelter Director Chris Schuettler. This is the piece of correspondence that I just passed out. Therein, as you'll see, Mr. Schuettler informed Mr. Edens that the Carter County planning staff would no longer be responsible for oversight of the Elizabethton/Carter County Animal Shelter or the supervision of the city animal control officer. Mr. Schuettler also stated that when the planning staff first took the role of directing the shelter, he, as well as Mr. Jimmy Church, would each be compensated $3,400 annually. Further, he informed Mr. Edens that the city and county were 19 months in the arrears on the promised salary increase. He made it clear that if the city and county wished to have Mr. Church and himself continue management of the shelter, they must each receive a payment of $5,383.33 by January 20th, 2012. Immediately after the phone conversation with Mr. Edens, I went to the planning office to get some clarification from Mr. Schuettler pertaining to the matter. He informed me that Mr. Edens, Jerry Pearman, Bill Armstrong, and Mayor Holder were all aware of the compensation agreement. I asked,
Actually, I said, and there was others.
I asked if he had something in writing to that effect, and he responded no. My question at that point, and still now, is why would anyone work 19 months on a promise without demanding payment? Since that time, I've asked Ingrid DeLoach to check the personnel files for Mr. Schuettler and Mr. Church for any documents that would support their claims. None were found. She also spoke to Jerome Kitchens. He has no knowledge of any such agreement. I spoke with Mr. Armstrong and Chairman Barrett. Neither have recollection, at least at the time of our phone conversation, of any discussion or votes occurring in budget or full commission meeting pertaining to the matter of compensation. On Friday the 6th, I picked up a box of files from Mr. Eden's office. These were all of the files that Mr. Schuettler dropped off the week earlier. On Monday the 9th, I received a call from one of the volunteers at the animal shelter informing me that they were in need of supplies. They had called the planning office and was told that they were no longer responsible for the shelter. I personally went to the shelter at my earliest convenience on Wednesday, the 11th, and compiled a list of those needed items and submitted the actual purchase orders from that box. I used those purchase orders to Mr. Gerald Harrell at the city on Thursday the 12th. I'm concerned that Mr. Schuettler took this action upon himself without first notifying anyone in the county. At the very least, he should have notified Planning Commission Chairman Bowers or Attorney Bowers. We've taken great strides to establish good working relations with the City of Elizabethton, and will continue to do so. However, Mr. Schuettler's message and stance was one not of cooperation. Attorney Bowers contacted me on Friday the 13th, approximately 1 p.m., to inform me he had a conversation with Mr. Schuettler, and he agreed to resume his role of director of the animal shelter until a new director is hired by the newly formed advisory board. However, he is insistent upon being compensated. The following is an excerpt from page 1 of the Carter County Employee Handbook. No supervisor, manager, or representative of the county, other than a majority vote of the Carter County Commission, has the authority to enter into any agreement with you for employment for any specified period, or to make any promises or commitments contrary to the foregoing. Further, no employment agreement is enforceable unless it's in writing, designated as an employment agreement, and signed by the county attorney on behalf of the county commission. To date, I have found no evidence that any written agreement exists for annual compensation for Mr. Schuettler and Mr. Church.
What page is that employee handbook, Leon?
That's the latest version.
Latest.
Yes. I am confident that the advisory board,
You have a date on that?
I don't, 1 second, sir. There is no date on this, but I have the current in the old handbook. This is the latest.
JMD or manual and not have a date, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, I didn't produce this,
But you're holding it.
but I'll be glad to give you the copy.
That's fine, I've got multiple copies that come out every year.
But this is the current.
Without a date, how do we know if that's current or not? I think that's something
This is-
we probably need to look into.
It may be a very good point, Mr. Schuettler, but you'll have to talk to Finance Office and Personnel Office to get that. But they've issued.
Sounds to me like a murder job there.
So let me ask you a question.
Can I finish, and then you can ask any question you like, okay? Today, I have found no evidence of any written agreement for Mr. Church and Mr. Schuettler. I'm confident that the advisory board will work diligently to expedite the advertisement and interview process for the director's position at the animal shelter. However, realistically, that could be 60 to 90 days if everything falls into place. I took the matter before the Carter County Commission during its meeting on the 17th. At that time, the commission voted to reinstate Mr. Schuettler as the animal shelter director until one is hired by the advisory board. No action was taken on the issue of compensation. That was a whole issue. Thus, the commission, in essence, referred the matter back to the Planning Commission because Mr. Schuettler works directly with the Planning Commission due to the private act. So, at this time, the Planning Commission is the one that should take a stance on the issue. Thus, the question is, the Planning Commission going to recognize and authorize the payments as requested by Mr. Schuettler and Mr. Church? If so, can they expect additional payments for services rendered from this point until the new director is in place?